right, guys, so here we are ready to mess with these Eco Dye sheets here. Now I'm working on, I'm going to do 3 sheets from 3 separate kits. I'm going to work on this one, and this is from Denim Dream. And then let me set that aside. I'm going to work on, I think I'll work on this one here from Pink Spatter. Got some fun little pages to work with. And then this is from Garden Cafe Kit 1. So these will be my 3 sheets to start with. And I want to talk about this really fun story too as we go. I've got me some chamomile tea today. Let me move that aside. And I'm starting off with Folk Art Rich Black Chalk Paint here. And I'm just going to go ahead and line these up because it does not matter what direction they are. I've got too much stuff on my desk as usual. All right, let's see if everything is in frame. Here we go, here we go. Okay, we'll work on 2 and then pop the other one in. So of course, the first of 4 ways to grunge up your artwork, and this is something that you guys know me well for. I always do this. I'm watering down my chalk paint quite a bit. You want it pretty inky. And then I'm using my fan brush and I'm going to wipe off most of that paint. And then of course we've got spatter for our first. That makes some really nice grungy looks on this paper. It adds already giving some more depth to these sheets. So the story I have today is really fun. I have this book that I was reading a few summers ago, and it's a book called Angels in My Hair by Lorna Byrne. And if you're not familiar with Lorna Byrne, she's an Irish woman who sees angels, and she has seen angels all of her life, even since birth. And she states that in another one of her books. She has quite a number of books out. Look at that. I really love that look here. All right, so real quick, while the spatter is drying on our grunge pages, I want to go over this story with you very quickly. It's a short one. So Angels in My Hair is the book by Lorna Byrne, and here she is, wonderful lady. She's all over the place. She's even right here on YouTube. You can look her up, and she's got a lot of books out too. So I was laying in bed one morning reading this, and I wasn't having a lot of contact with spirit at this time in my life, and this was a few years ago, and I was feeling a bit envious at Lorna's ability to see angels, and I was feeling a bit down because I just hadn't had the interaction. So the whole point of this dig is for you to boldly ask for guidance, right? And that's what I did on this morning, and it's so funny what happened. So what I did was I was reading and I stopped and I said, okay, Spirit, you know, I haven't felt you lately. Can you please, I have to get up in 10 minutes. This is so funny. Can you please give me a sign before I have to get out of bed and get my day going? And then I forgot all about asking for this sign, right? And I'm reading and just turning the pages, completely forgotten that I asked for this sign. And then I turned the page, and this is what I got right here. Let me bring you in. So a few pages later, this is what shows up for me when I'm asking for Spirit to let me know that Spirit is with me and that I'm not alone. So here's what I got. And you know, the whole point of this, let's move on with the artwork now. The whole point of this, of course, is to, you know, we don't get this in our lives. We're not getting the training of asking for guidance and relying on that guidance, because even more importantly for me, asking for the guidance is excellent and wonderful. But listening for the actual guidance is the most important element to me. So for step 2 now, I'll talk more about the angel thing, but I want to get this going. Step 2, we're going to be doing some scraping, and I'm just using Golden Titan Buff right here, and I'm going to do a line of it. I kind of want it on this end of my little jelly plate, just like that, so that I can take my gift card, and what I want to do is dip it into the paint pretty good on that edge, and then I want to scrape off a lot of the paint onto the jelly plate, and that way you don't get big blobs on your sheet. So we'll start with this one, but the great thing about that is, you know, we have this guidance happening. Ooh la la, look at that. I like that. And I'm sure that you guys have stories too. And I would ask that if you can share, you know, in a nice little compact way, some of your angel stories, your divine guidance stories in the comment section below. I would love that, because I really want to, you know, kind of help along the people who are new at this, who are new at asking for guidance, and who are, you know, new at doing this kind of thing. So, because it's definitely not just Lorna Byrne, and it's absolutely not just me, and it's not just a few select people, you know, this is, and I believe that this is available to each and every one of us. So I'm just going to stick to the Titan Buff color for all 3 of these. We're just going to do the same colors straight across. Look at the lovely marks this is creating. But if you would be willing to share your experiences down below, then, you know, people could see that, you know, hey, try this, do this. And I've been doing this for a lot of years now, and I really do come from a place of, I hated God. I had a very deep and kind of a scary hatred for God for a long time. I really felt like God had abandoned me, and I really prefer the word spirit, but I felt abandoned, and I felt left in, you know, this ghetto neighborhood to raise my daughter, and it was really scary for me, and I was very angry because I spent so much of my life being in total fear, and I know for a fact that I am not alone in that. So I love to work with light. I love to ask for guidance. I love to listen for guidance, and I love to take the guidance I get most of the time. I don't always pull it off, but I do listen now. It's second nature to me. Look at the loveliness we are creating on these. Oh my goodness, I am so excited about this. So, you know, I've come such a long way with this stuff, and I really want to make sure and keep this element and some of this. So you want to be careful. Just don't go over the stuff that you really love. But these edges could use a little work. Oh, I just love that. That adds such a dimension to this. But, you know, and for those of you who are like, yeah, right, try it. All I'm saying is try it. I think that you will really be amazed at what you can come up with. So let me say this. I love my country. I'm in America. But the problem that I see is we are just not trained in these practices, in these spiritual practices. But what I absolutely adore in life is that when I get one-on-one with people and they open up to me, we are so much more of a spiritual species than we even know, because it's just not out there as much as I would like it to be. And, you know, I watch a little too much news, and I get down because of that. So, you know, there is that, and there is a lot of spiritual material out there in the world. And, you know, I have this channel, and part of my goal is to bring that here while we find these amazing ways to do artwork and expand ourselves as artists. is. So check that out. I am really enjoying the look of this. So now let's move on to number 3. 3 of 4 we've got. So I've got this nice watered down black chalk paint, and I'm going to make this even more inky here. And I have to say, I was on cloud 9 that whole day, and the lesson I really got from seeing that I'm here, here I am, exclamation point in bold black letters, was you know, I need to ask for guidance and I need to ask for help as though I deserve it, and not with this like, oh, please, can I have some more, please? You know, not with that little Tiny Tim attitude of you know, what am I trying to say? I just want to be more bold in my asking for guidance. And I really was that morning, because I was actually kind of mad. I was like, why does she get this and I don't? Why do some people have these amazing experiences and I don't get that? And you know, I was upset about it. So I got a little rare about it. Okay, that I'm not sure I like. But anyway, let's work with this for a minute. I'm gonna take my paper towel out. So yes, talking and working, not my strongest suit, but the point is this: ask boldly for what you want, because if we don't ask, we're definitely not gonna get it. I kind of like wiping it off, because then you're getting that, ooh, I like that so much better. Let's work on that for a minute. We'll wipe a lot of this off. Ooh, you kind of want to blot it and not wipe. Okay, not my favorite page, but it's got potential. It's still got potential. Let's put a little bit more scraping on it. So any page that's not going your way, don't give up. Do not give up on your pages, because I promise you, you're gonna hit the magic layer. It happens with me every time I do artwork. You just have to keep going until you can get that magical layer, and it will happen. And most artwork has an ugly, I'm so ugly point, okay? All the artwork I do, it seems, goes through this phase. I shouldn't really say most, I should say all, especially when you're working with layers. It's just the nature of the artwork. It's also very much the nature of faux finishing. Every piece has its phase where it's like not so pretty, right? Okay, so even that, look, that made it much better in my opinion. I'm even gonna cover it a little bit more. I want to get rid of that one almost entirely, and then bring this up here more. And the trick is to just keep at it. And it really is the same way with asking for guidance. Okay, so I'm not thrilled with this black paint. I think I'm gonna bump over and use my French Roast Color Wash tint from Tattered Angels. And like I always say, I get this at Hobby Lobby. I'm just gonna pour a little in my cap. So, you know, being able to be guided. Now I'm using a round brush here, and I'm wetting it because I want these drips kind of thin. So I'm going to do this the best I can so that you can see. Here we go. But you know, when we boldly ask, oh, I like that, where it just kind of like flops around. But this section is drips, so we must have drips. We must. But you know, this idea of being bold about asking for guidance is such a it's something that can serve us year after year, time after time. And you know, I don't always feel bold. I don't always feel daring. I don't always feel like I can do that and I can have that. I'm just kind of connecting some of these here and there. And remember, whatever you don't like, you can cover up. It's no problem at all. So let's do a couple more. This really pays off if you've had a lot of coffee, because you can get really good jagged lines when you've had your coffee for the day. This is great artwork to do right after you've had some coffee. So yeah, I mean, I think I've said really everything I wanted to say about that. But, you know, if you would share a story or two in the comments section below, I just think it's so wonderful to get people to be able to, know that we can do this, you know, we can do this. And it's not only America, we're just... Oh, the modern world is so trained to, you know, be more ego-based and more about seeing is believing kind of thing. And, you know, if I believe it, then I get to see it. But if I don't believe in it, it's not going to show up for me. You know what I mean? So that is really what I'm talking about here with this. I kind of like this spattered dripped look. So I'm going to take this up higher and then maybe a little there. I need a water bottle. Let's give a squirt. There we go. Now you're talking. Look at that. That's really making some beautiful marks here. Let's do some more of that. So many societies today are so ego focused, in my opinion, and very much so you know, prove it, focused, and we miss the magic when we have to have everything proven to us and shown to us in a factual, provable manner. So, you know, these stories I think are so important. And like I said, I was just flying on cloud 9. I am loving this page. I was flying on cloud 9 that day when I got that message from Spirit, and I have really come to rely on the guidance and ask for the guidance. So I'm going to set this one aside to dry, and I want to do a little bit more of that on this one. Let's see what we can come up with. I'm just going to put some down and then give it a spray and see what we get. Kind of make it thick. That Titan Buff is acting a bit like a resist to this, so we'll see what happens when we squirt it. But you know, the proof for me is in my heart. Like I've said before, I don't necessarily need everything to be proven. Now, some things, of course, we have to have stuff proven, but I just think it's so important that we focus on training ourselves to do this and to have this, because it is such an amazing gift to be in communication with Spirit. It has changed my life, and you know, it's made my life so much better. And in that same vein, I have to say, guys, I do not always get the guidance I want. Sometimes I will be told, you know, quit doing this behavior, or you need to work harder at that, and I'm like, ugh, that's not the answer I wanted, and I'll ignore it, and then I'll go on, and I will still have these roadblocks, and I'll still hit these have these things that end up in my way, impeding my progress, right? And then I go back and I ask again, and I get the same answer, and it's like, oh, okay, I have to listen to the answer I was given and act on it. And every time I act on it, and sometimes it's really hard because it's about breaking habits that I've developed over the years, right? And I don't always want to let those habits go because somehow they're serving me, somehow, some way. Okay, look at those extra layers, how much more beautiful we're getting on this page now. So like I said, you know, this is so, it's falling into alignment with each other. We don't give up on our artwork, and we don't give up on ourselves. And even if we ask for guidance and we get guidance guidance that we don't want, it's okay. That guidance is not going to stop. Spirit is not going to go, well, you did not listen to me last week when I told you this, so you're cut off. No, no, no. It never, ever works like that. So, and thank Spirit for that directly, right? So we can ignore and we can move on, but it is so much better not to. When I take the guidance the first time around, it tends to work out better for me, but I don't always do that. So, and I'm sure you don't either. So, you know, if you're not practiced at this, just know this is available to each and every one of us at any and all times. Any and all times. I have a friend that I was visiting with yesterday, and she had severe, severe abuse in her childhood. And you know, sometimes she gets caught up in what happened to her, and how could she not? My goodness, I'm not going to give you details as to what happened to this friend of mine, but I will just say that it has really tainted her experience, and she is getting better and better at flowing with Spirit, and it's not anything I'm telling her to do. I don't go around preaching this stuff. I just like to share the gifts that I have been given, and I think that this is a really ideal place for that, and I really hope that you agree. So, you know, we all have these burdens and these hard things that we go through, and we do deserve to have an out and a way to make our lives better and more enjoyable, not just easier. It's not just about survival. It's about flourishing, right? This is why I love artwork so much, because artwork allows me an opportunity to flourish. So I kind of got some of this lost in the page. And if you really want your drips to stand out better, you know, gesso your stuff and it will stay more on top, but the page is absorbing some of the media. But look at the difference. Oh my goodness, I am loving these, loving them. So this one I wish I would have sprayed, and since I wish I would have and didn't, let's just come back and spray it. I think this could use a little bit more of the Titan Buff, and it's a little wet, but I don't care. Let's just work it. Let's work it. So yeah, I look at some of these eco dyes and I get a little frustrated at the number of pages that just don't come out as well as I would like them to, right? And it's just the nature of this art form. I've done very many kits. I've probably done around 100, I would say. I have a bunch, and you know, it's always been the same experience for me. So I think that's pretty good right there. I have a tendency to overdo, as you guys know. So I'm going to stop right there and let these dry for a few, and then I'll be back and we'll do the other steps. Real quick, since we covered up a lot of our spatter, since I have to let these dry anyway, and I've got this here, why don't we just go ahead and add a little bit more of this, and it can dance around and be wet on wet and look really exciting. I'm even gonna get some drips with the black, maybe even pull a little of it back here and there. Yes, okay. So I hope you guys are liking these pages. This is such a great solution for, you know, having these pages that don't look so great. And they've just been sitting there taking up space, and I'm ready to circulate things in my life and release stuff, you know what I'm saying? And so this is giving me an opportunity to make some really fantastic artwork that I can move down the line. This one so far is my favorite one of the three. This really looks like just a grungy old wall to me, and I love this one. I love these far better than I did when they were just the Eco Dye pages, and you've got some leaves poking up through here. Let me show you, bring it in. You can see just that silhouette, that ghost silhouette of those leaves. And then I'm keeping that beautiful print of, I'm sure this is scrub oak. It always prints black, and it didn't give me a full print, but it gave me this beautiful little mark. So now, last but not least on our 4 grunge techniques is, of course, stenciling. So what we're going to use now is, I've got this golden burnt sienna color, and it's a translucent color, which I really love working with those. And what I want to do is, I've got these little letter stencils, and so I'm going to pop a couple of these on here. I just ordered some bigger ones, and I really can't wait for them to come. I'm very excited. Now this is going to be a faint little view of these, but I think it's just going to be beautiful. And then we'll do another color as well to kind of make those come out. So I got that a little too wet there, but I've got some other stuff here I wanted to mess around with. I have this fun netting, and it's fun, but it's also kind of a pain. So let's put it on this white area here for some contrast. Yep, my brush is too wet for that, but it's okay. Let's just throw some on. I'm gonna offload that. That's why I love this kind of artwork, because you can get really dirty and it's all okay. All right, so yeah, just offload, and I knew better. I knew better than to do that, and I don't really like that blob there, so let's just wipe it. That'll give us a nice little patina look. We'll leave our W clear, and then let's add some of this color to this one. I'm not sure I want to add it to this. We will stencil that one, but with a different color. Now with this one, I have a piece of lace I wanted to use for my stencil, and I love doing this. This is a throwback to my faux finishing days. I used to texture walls with lace and do plaster lace prints on the wall. It was quite a finish, and maybe I'll do that in the future if you guys are interested. So I've offloaded a lot of my paint here. Do it right, Cody, do it right. And let's see how we're looking. That's pretty neat. I like it. I like this color. And like I said before, you know, if you do something that you don't like, just cover it. Just simply cover it, spatter on it, do whatever you wish. Now I have to be careful. I'm getting this on the pink. Better move that. Okay, so I've got a little bit of that lace print on here now, and what I'd like to do is just take my sponge. I'm just using a little sponge, and I want to just add this color in, kind of like a soft, cloudy look of this color. And you want to make sure your sponge is really dry when you're doing this part here. And we'll just come in and add that and grunge it up even more. I definitely want to add a little bit more Tighten Buff to this page. I want to be real gentle with it and just get that white color on top of that. It's really not white, it's more of a cream. But I think it helps a lot to kind of push that back, and then I can hide and get rid of those areas that I don't necessarily like. And look at how beautiful. Our wall is getting to be having a little bit more character in it now. I love divine guidance. I love to ask for help and actually receive it, and I always do, and it's so amazing how that works. Okay, I think that that's helped some. It's beginning to look more aged and interesting to me. I just want to say, as we get into this stenciling now, scale is very important, and even these smaller pages, I hope that's not going to bleed too much. Oh, that's beautiful. It could use a bigger, these could use bigger letter stencils. So I'm really excited to get those, but at the same time, you got to work with what you've got, so it's fine. Let's do that, and then let's add another, we'll add a B there. Kind of just float a few of these letters around. Let's get this one going off the page up here. So sky's the limit with these. You can really take these in so many directions, and the bigger letters, oh, I wish I had them right now. So let's do a couple more on these. And I'm very excited. When I get those bigger letters, I'm going to be doing a lot of artwork with them for sure. Okay, be sure not to work too wet like I did earlier. All right, let's go. I've got that W here, so I kind of want to play off of that a little bit. Okay, that's pretty wet, but that's all right. I like the look of it, and you can always offload your... Let's do another W over here on the edge. I'm excited to add some of this black to the pink and play with color. You know, play with all the different colors you like. I tend to really love earth and the grunge rust colors, and that burnt sienna is such a beautiful rust color. Let's do X. Uh-oh, working too wet again. That's all right with me though. It really is. I don't mind. Ooh, that's fun. I'm even gonna scrape some of this on here. I like that look too, very much. So let's put a Y. Why? Why? All right, so this is a really fun little way to make yet more artwork and have even more fun with your eco dyes. So with just these 4 techniques, spatter, scrape, drip, and stencil, you can really take your artwork to the next level. And you don't need eco dyes, of course. You can do all this stuff just on any kind of background. And if you want the eco dye look, but you don't want to go through the work of eco dyeing, you can always pick up my kits, and I'll go ahead and link these 3 kits below. So I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, throw me a like and hit that subscribe button with the bell notification, and I will see you next week. Have a great day.